As Parliament gears up for what is shaping up to be one of its most significant and historic sittings on Friday, provincial legislatures are also preparing to convene. One of those is Kwazulu-Natal, where the MK party pulled an upset in last month's general elections. For the first time ever, the ANC is set to be in the opposition benches after being dethroned by the MK party's 45% share of the vote. The talks are now underway to form a coalition government in the province, with the MK party expressing its willingness to work with the Inkatha Freedom Party. Here to elaborate on those planned negotiations and mutual interest with the IFP is Muzi Ntshingile, who is the MK party's head of elections. Muzi, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. I want to start off here with the application that you brought before the Constitutional Court. In that application, the prayer that you are seeking is to interdict the National Assembly from having its first sitting. This does not affect the provincial legislatures, am I correct?
A very good morning, Aldrin and the viewers. In fact, we've taken a position that all our representatives should not attend because it affects us across all board. It's not only on the National Assembly, but in the provincial legislatures, where we are showing solidarity, all of us, not only nationally, but you're not going to attend even the opening, the swearing in of MPLs.
So this is going to be across the country where the MK party has managed to secure seats in the provinces?
Absolutely.
Okay, what does this then mean for specifically KZN, considering that there you managed to secure the lion's share of the vote there with around 45% of the vote that you've secured there, 37 seats in total. You are essentially the bigger party in that provincial legislature if there was to sit down. What do you think the effect of that would be? I see that the KwaZulu-Natal legislature has already indicated that Judge President Toba Posha will be presiding over the swearing-in ceremony.
It will never have any effects because the relations that we've managed to establish with the other parties that are like-minded and progressive will also be in support of our position until such time we've attended and are satisfied with our grievances and also our court cases, including any other legal remedies that we are pursuing, have been attended to and are satisfied as opposed to the manner in which the IEC has conducted itself, not necessarily attended to the processes and also our objections. I mean, after having galloped to declare results against the objections that are not processed, not having given us the mechanisms or systems that they've utilized to come to the determination that declaring the results outside of not processing those objections would not have any material effects into the results. So we are saying until such time, we will embark on any legal remedies available at our disposal. But of course, it's a sign of solidarity, but also it's a sign of trying to defend the very integrity of our democracy. That indeed MK party is here to make it a point that any form of injustice, MK party will stand for it.
What does this then mean for the ongoing talks? Yesterday, your spokesperson, Tlamula Ndlela, was in conversation with my colleague Thabo, and he said that parallel to the court case and the challenge against the elections and the allegations of vote rigging is that the conversations around coalition talks would still be ongoing. And I see there's a letter that that has come from your Secretary General, Sihle Ngubane, speaking about the invitation to the IFP to have a conversation about forming a coalition government, specifically in KZN.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you would know that we are running a simultaneous process. We have good relations with other parties. We've met with the EFF, we've met with the NFP, we have engagements with the ANC. This morning we'll be meeting with the PA. So it doesn't have to stop the process of having engagements with progressive parties. But those outcomes are positive. We will be releasing a statement in relation to those engagements. But it doesn't affect them. Those engagements are continuous and very positive and the outcomes, as I'm indicating, will be communicated, and that's very positive.
Yeah. So what's the big game there? What's the end goal then? You are challenging the election results. You are in court now with the Constitutional Court, but there you're just asking, as Part A, that the sitting of the National Assembly mustn't go ahead, and then also you want the president to declare a new election. While at the same time you're also having conversations with political parties. Is that with the intention that if your Constitutional Court bid fails, then you still have an opportunity to convince political parties to form a coalition, especially in a province like KZN?
Most definitely. Remember, you would know the judiciary of this country, but we had to file these court applications at the back of the IEC that we should have requested an extension from the Electoral Court to process all dissatisfactions and grievances from parties, but not only MK, but many other parties who were not happy by the manner in which things were happening during the elections. But it doesn't say we can't have relationships with other parties. Should we not be in a position to succeed in our applications, we have to also have something that is tangible, that we can also fall back on. But of course, we're very positive based on the cases that we've submitted, the compelling evidence that we have. But we've always had good relationships with other parties. So that also ought to be harnessed and also sustained and maintained through these engagements.
Did you eventually speak to the ANC? Was there eventually a meeting that took place?
Absolutely. We met with the ANC. In fact, we had our first bite last week, and our second bite was on Monday.
Yeah. What was the conclusion of that particular meeting?
No, we had a very positive meeting with the ANC. In fact, we agreed, but our only concern was the GNU, which the concept doesn't make sense in the current political landscape, because the GNU would understand how it collapsed in 1996 after de Klerk left. It collapsed, but it was also formed under conditions that were still volatile after the apartheid government. So you can then want to reconstruct or reinvent something that doesn't have any material material benefits in the current political environment. So we said we can enter into any form of coalitions based on our policy framework and our strategic priorities. I think we agree on those strategic priorities, and we're waiting for feedback while they're still consulting, and they will go back to NWC and the NEC and communicate those outcomes effectively as well.
Yeah. There was a report that came out of the Mail and Guardian that there has been an agreement that has been reached amongst various political parties, including the IFP as well as the ANC and the Democratic Alliance, to form a government in KZN. What does this once again mean for the MK party if they do go ahead with that? Because if you look at the seat allocation, 37 seats that have been secured by the MK party, 80 seats in total in the provincial legislature. If you have the IFP, the ANC, the DA, and perhaps maybe the NFP, they're able to go just above that 41 seat allocation to go ahead and elect a government.
Yeah, we will not dictate what parties should do. But what we know is that the engagements that we have with the NFP and the EFF are very positive, and we are aligned in terms of policy framework and strategic priorities. As of the IFP, a meeting is scheduled for today. We'll be having an engagement with the IFP as well. So I can communicate beforehand as to what is going to be the outcome of those engagements. But from where we are sitting, I mean, the Just Black Progressive African Unity is a very powerful arrangement. And I think based on our policy outlook as well, and the interest of parties, these engagements are going to be fruitful for all of us.
Okay. Just finally, the Constitutional Court application, and of course you also make reference there to the pressure to have a sitting within the 14 days as stipulated by the Constitution after the declaration of the results. How do you see the Constitutional Court navigating that particular aspect? Because it is engraved in our Constitution. How do they jump that particular hurdle? And those 14 days are lapsing on Sunday or Monday?
Remember, we as the party understand Section 46, that you can only constitute a National Assembly with not less than 350 or not more than 400. But of course, there is another interpretation that seeks to communicate something different. But ours is that we are still very much aggrieved. We didn't want to subscribe to the 14 days because there were remedies that could have been utilized to mitigate whatever issues that parties have. So even if the 14 days is to lapse, it also assists us to strengthen our democracy so that we bring about transparency, integrity, and accountability into the institution.
But how do the judges jump that hurdle that says that within 14 days there must be a sitting of the National Assembly? How do you think the judges can do that?
The judges will have to interpret the Constitution correctly. The judge will have to stand on the side of the people, because the Constitution can't speak outside of the will of the people. The judges ought to put the interests of the people first so that they also assist in strengthening the democracy and strengthening the work of political parties and bring about the confidence in the political landscape of the country.
That's the MK's head of elections there, Muzi Ntshingile. Thank you so much for making time for us.